Hey everybody, it's your boy, and today's video will be about the modern snake oil salesman. I guess there isn't really a name for them other than many different colloquial terms. Grifter, con artist, but there's no real word that really encapsulates what kind of snake oil they really sell. Of course, there are the political grifters who shift like the wind, like Ben Shapiro. There's also the kind of grifter, however, that isn't implicitly political, but they are cultural grifters. These are people that prey on particular groups of vulnerable people who have issues that need addressing, they need guidance, and they offer them snake oil, however that may be, in order to make money. It's these individuals here who prey on young men in particular, because these types of grifters always prey on men. I mean, the only grifters that women have are feminists. Need I say any more about that grift? These grifters will target young men in particular because it is young men at the moment, I mean, regardless of race, but really it's white men that have the biggest issues at the moment culturally and even politically in society. They need guidance, and as a result of this, these men take the opportunity to prey on these people to make a bit of money, because they're not really interested in actually improving these people's lives. They're only interested in their money and turning them into cash cows, pay pigs, essentially. And they copy certain models from people who are legitimate. A perfect example of a legitimate person who wants to make an improvement in people's lives is Jordan Peterson. He has written books on the subject that actually have changed people's lives for the better, I would say. It really has done. You can ask some of my friends. They say that his advice works. And the fact that nothing bad has come out about him that suggests that it is just a grift speaks volumes of his character. Now, yeah, of course, he might have some bad takes on Twitter, which he does have a lot, but regardless, it comes from an honest place. You can't say he's a liar. But with people like Jack Murphy, they see the model that he's created, this self-help guru who helps young men become better, and he's seen that and thought, that's a good opportunity to con some men and make money and to build, I guess, an audience of people who are so, I don't know, taken in by my personality that I will always have this income stream to fall back on. So what do? They dress up stereotypically like masculine men, or what the culture perceives to be masculine. So with him, he has no hair, so he can't have a nice short back and sides like I do, but what he does have is a very nice beard, which I don't have. And he also looks the part. He will adopt a certain fashion sense, and he will also try and walk around in a particular posture. He'll work out, although to me, in some of the videos I've seen, he looks pretty fat. But hey, you know what? He's big and broad and muscular-ish, so he looks like somebody who's worked on himself to be better than he used to be, I guess, essentially. And that's what he peddles, this self-help nonsense. And he tries to build it up as a sort of spiritual, physical, mental journey where you better yourself, as long as you pay him $100 or $99.99 a month or a year or whatever it is. Quite an extortionate amount of money, but with that, I guess, these men are thinking, well, if I do this, I will get laid, I will get a girl, I'll be able to settle down, I'll be able to sort my life out. But really, he's not selling you much of anything. Instead, he's selling you this package, and then apparently, once you go into his actual sphere, you end up joining a semi-cult-like atmosphere, and then you have other people selling you things as well that he's working with. So they'll sell you stuff like how to be a successful businessman, how to be a successful stockbroker, how to set up your own business. I mean, yeah, sure, it's all useful stuff there, but even then, how do you know the things that they're selling you actually work? You don't. But then, behind the scenes, behind all of this charade, this masculine visage, what is he actually? He's a cook, and he's quite effeminate himself. Now, why do these people do this? Why do they exhibit this image of masculinity, of being a true man in an effeminate time, but then behind closed doors, they are exactly what they're preaching against? Because his big thing was to try and, reclaim masculinity, to inject it back into the culture. And he's not alone in that. There are other people who aren't necessarily trading in masculinity and how to make you a better man, although that is part and parcel of it. These people are trying to sell you tradition. Now, this tradition may not actually be from the forefathers of your country. This could be the tradition that they learned from particular philosophers who aren't necessarily influenced by what happened in the West thousands of years ago, from old school paganism and things like that, although some of them are, but from more Eastern influences, Indian influences, Chinese influences, stuff that you really don't resonate with if you're a typical Westerner, though obviously some people do and find a lot of useful stuff from it. By and large, they're not actually selling you tradition. You're not going back to tradition. You're going back to a esoteric philosopher's ideal tradition of what the next generation ought to have as their tradition. And they're selling you this, and they're selling you how to live your life, so you must get married, you must have kids, you must do this at a particularly early age, you must live your life in a very narrow way, and you must not stray from the path, so you must not be polyamorous, you must not be promiscuous. They base it on traditional Catholic stuff or more esoteric nonsense from the East or from semi-pagan times. That's what they're trying to sell you. But then, when you actually dig into these people's pasts, their behaviour, when you look into what they actually do behind closed doors, they're anything but. Often, you'll have people whose very existence kind of contradicts the whole point of selling tradition or trying to go back to tradition. A lot of these people aren't what you would call stereotypically male or female. They are, I guess you would say, troons. And some of these people don't even live in particularly normal relationships. A lot of these people actually don't have a monogamous relationship. They're actually polyamorous behind the scenes, or even openly so, yet they just sell to you and to the plebs that you must live this narrowly defined traditional path, while they get to go and have orgies and live in their polyamorous relationships and fuck whoever they want, because I guess in their heads they'll be ruling the world, they'll be the ruling caste. So much like what the ruling caste does now and does whatever they want, they think they can just do whatever they want, while you have to follow what they tell you to do. And these people are spreading like wildfire. They are everywhere. But why do they do it? I think really what they're doing is they're hiding. I think some of them have ulterior motives for hiding. Some of them have found themselves into these circles because politically they might be aligned with certain people, and in order to fit in, they have to kind of overcompensate. And then when it comes out, they get ostracized. Maybe they're afraid of that. Other people are just grifters. They're trying to make money. They don't really care. Others, I guess, again, are just out for power. They just want to rule the world or to watch it burn. And as long as these sheeple who give them money, who support them, who give them the dopamine hit, do what they tell them to do, they just go off and do whatever they want. A lot of it is just petty nonsense. But it is all projection. It is all a charade. It's sleight of hand. It's a distraction from what they truly are. Or it's just a way to control you. Maybe that's what it is. It's not just a money-making thing, it's control. And to be fair, the mainstream do the exact same thing. They tell you to be tolerant of all people, to respect people, to be a good, progressive person. But yet, when you look at what they actually do, they engage in violence, they engage in intolerance and bigotry, they are racist, homophobic and transphobic, and all those other things, but they expect you to be the opposite. Moreover, they might even actively try to change who you are, to change what men or women truly are for their own nefarious purposes. And to me, this is no different to that. But of course, you can't just blanket state that all these grifters, all these people with ulterior motives are all the same, because again, they have different motives, they have different reasons, they are different people. But ultimately, it's all just fake. And how do you even know that these people are telling the truth? Well, I guess, first off, is to just watch for red flags. Do some research on these people. A lot of them are public figures, and you'll easily find stuff about them. Address them about things that seem a bit contradictory. Get to know them, even. So yeah, that's really all I can advise you on how to spot them. It's just those things. There's not a lot you can do, and some of them are so good at lying that, well, they probably will never be caught. You will only have a hunch, but you'll never be able to prove it. But they are a real issue, and they do need to be addressed. And the sooner these people are kicked out of these circles, the better, I say. But the problem is, a lot of these people are so ingrained in certain groups and circles that they might actually be defended by some of the more good people there because they're worried that the left or whoever will use this against them. So they'll defend them even though it's in their best interest to kick them to the curb. I mean, that's why Tim Pool was ignoring a lot of the memes and questions about Jack Murphy when he last had him on his show. Because I guess he's in too deep with this guy. He's given his platform to this guy to speak his mind, and for whatever reason, Tim Pool just doesn't want to address the elephant in the room, because maybe he's in too deep, as I said before. So anyway, don't get into that position, guys. Until next time, it's been your boy, and I'll see you all later.